What's up, Dolphins? We're gathered here today not to make a happy video, talk about draft talk or a free agency recap or where the team's going, but we're here today to mourn a loss. A great loss for Dolphins Nation. Don't worry, though. We're going to find a way. We're going to get through it together. Fins up.
This is a Miami Sports Music Podcast Network production. Be sure to visit us at miamisportsmusic.com/podcast. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Miami Sports Music. Now sit back, relax on whatever listening device you are on, and enjoy the Miami Sports Music Show.
So right away, I know some of you guys are going to give me crap because I'm wearing a black Cameron Wake jersey right now. The reason you're going to give me crap is because I've said several times that I hate when we use specifically black, but when people use other colors on Dolphins gear and they rock it all the time. I don't get black. I never have. I think it's one of the ugliest colors of clothing you can wear. I was really upset last year when the NFL, I should say, made all the draft hats black. The Dolphins sent me one. It's still sitting at my sister's house. I got to go pick it up. I'm going to rep the team regardless, but it bothers me so much. Black clothes are hideous. Anyway, that being said, why am I wearing black? I'm wearing black because this isn't an episode. This is a funeral. We're here to mourn a great loss to Dolphin Nation, to the current Dolphins team, to fans everywhere. And that loss is the loss of Sam Darnold as the Jets quarterback. So, for those of you that don't know, the Carolina Panthers traded for Sam Darnold, I should say. All draft picks included, no players coming around, and honestly, they didn't really give up much. But why is this such a loss to Dolphins Nation? Well, it's because he was horrible. I was one of those few guys that was actually celebrating when the Jets drafted him because I never thought he was going to be much at the NFL level. Another USC guy, which, they've just had bad luck with USC quarterbacks coming out in the last decade or so. You turned over machine in college and continued that right in the NFL. If I remember correctly, and someone, feel free to drop some info here if I'm wrong, but I believe he actually threw an interception on his very first drive. I want to say that's right. But look, here's the deal. The guy was never that good. It was a smart move for the Jets to move on from him. It just sucks for us because, quite frankly, it was almost a guaranteed W every time we played the Jets under the Sam Darnold era. Only once since Sam Darnold joined the Jets have they beat us in the last 3 years. So that's 5-1 since Darnold was on. And I know, last year, we actually played when Flacco was starting, but it doesn't matter. Flacco wasn't much of an upgrade. I think he's backing up in Philly right now, if I'm correct. But just Sam Darnold was trash. Only once in his career did he even throw for 3,000 yards, and he barely scraped by. I think it was 3,024 yards or something like that. He's never thrown 20 or more touchdowns in a season. Most of the time, he's only thrown 2 or 3 more touchdowns, and he's thrown interceptions. He's always been in a double-digit interception game in comparison to his touchdowns. He's been horrible. He's had one season with a completion percentage above 60, and even that season, I want to say it was 61.9 or 62 or something like that. It wasn't an astronomical number. Tua's was better this year as a rookie with no training camp, preseason, OTAs, all that wonderful stuff. So it sucks. We won't be facing Sam Darnold twice a year anymore. Breaks my heart. I don't really know why the Panthers thought this was a smart move. Maybe because they knew they could get him cheap. I know a lot of you guys are going to say, oh, well, Adam Gase. Well, he didn't have Adam Gase's rookie year. He was bad then. And yes, I'm not, I don't think any Dolphins fans at this point are a fan of Adam Gase or think he's, a great coach or anything along those lines. And I've heard all the arguments, right? I've heard, they never really invested, he never really had weapons, he never really had X, Y, Z, right? I heard all the same arguments about Ryan Tannehill for years, right? And Tannehill had, statistically speaking, the worst or second worst offensive line in the league pretty much every year that he played. Tannehill consistently threw for 4,000 yards, consistently had better completion percentages. Tannehill actually set the record at one point for the most consecutive completions in a game. It was 21, I want to say. Get off it. Darnold ain't good. If you don't believe me, Pro Football Focus, I reference them from time to time. They do a very, very good analytic job. So essentially, they analyze basically everything that you could analyze, and they grade players based on that. So for example, if you got a cornerback that's only been thrown out 4 times all year, right, and he doesn't have a ton of interceptions or passes defended because he's only been thrown at 4 times all year, well, he's still going to get a grade based on, pressing receivers at the line, based on how many times he forced a quarterback that looked at him to look in the other direction, like tons of stuff, right? So I really like them for that. In the last few years, the NFL's actually been using some of their statistics. So the reason for the black jersey is this, right? PFF gave Teddy Bridgewater this year, who I think we can all agree, nothing special. I've always been down with Teddy Bridgewater. I never thought he was anything good. I think Devontae Parker carried him in college, if I'm being honest. But this year, PFF graded Teddy Bridgewater higher than any year Sam Darnold's ever played in the NFL. So just to kind of put this in perspective for you, like, Darnold is not good. Carolina, I really don't believe, is all in on Darnold. I think Darnold is a temporary fix for this season. Sorry about that phone going off in the background. Hey, look at that, Dolphin news. So, I'm kidding. That wasn't like breaking news or anything. That's just one of the fan clubs. So, again, I don't think Darnold is a permanent fix. I don't think he's going to be like the future there or anything like that. I think he'll probably get a shot at some point this year. And if it doesn't work, then they end up drafting a quarterback next year. So, why is this important other than, the obvious, like it may be a little harder to beat up on the Jets? Well, it's important because it's going to change up the draft. And it's funny, like, I got to take a side note. I'm sitting here talking about the black, and I never understood, like, why people want to wear black at a funeral. It's just always been weird to me. And a couple years ago, for those of you that don't know him, one of our good friends, Jay Dolphin Villa, unfortunately died right before the season started. He was a great dude. He was an asshole just like me. Like, we all struggle through our stuff, but we missed him every day. And I keep his picture here on my new, as I'm renovating stuff, I got to get a frame for it. But I just noticed he's wearing a black Dolphin shirt in the picture. But his little caricature that we got over here, though, he always wore aqua to the games, my guy. But, a bunch of us went to his funeral, obviously, and of course we rocked out our Dolphins gear, and his family was so happy, that we did that. They knew how much he loved the team. Anyway, sorry for the side note, Jay. We miss you, brother. I'm gonna get you in a picture frame and up on this wall behind me. We're gonna do that today. I promise you that. So anyway, back to the Darnold Bridgewater thing. Here's why this is important. This is important because it dramatically could change the beginning of the draft. So at MiamiSportsMusic.com, we're going to do a mock draft episode, right? All of us are going to get on. Doug, Lee, TD, Jamie, me, Stephen D, Solo, everybody. So it was funny because they were pressuring me, hey, get your mock draft in. And I was literally doing it, and it didn't save for whatever reason. And I went upstairs, took a break, ate some lunch, did all that wonderful stuff, and the news broke. So thank God I didn't send it in because I had to redo my entire draft. So we're going to talk about this probably on that show, and as we get closer to the actual draft, we're going to get a little bit deeper into the specifics of the mocks. But just know this. So the first 3 picks at this point are most guaranteed quarterbacks, right? Trevor Lawrence, number 1, hands down. It's looking like Zach Wilson's going to be the number 2 guy. It's looking like that even more now that Darnold's gone, the Jets are drafting. Now, we should probably spend a minute or two here and just kind of dive into thoughts on that. So I am not 1,000% sold on Zach Wilson as a great NFL quarterback. And I think it's kind of hard to be like that about anybody. I know a lot of people think Trevor Lawrence is going to be the next great one. Andrew Luck was a guy once that was going to be the next great one. But for me, it's very, very hard to be. Like, there's some guys that for sure could probably play at the NFL level. But when you're talking about drafting somebody number 2 overall, like, in my opinion, you need to know they're going to be great, or you need to not take that player. There was actually even some rumors that the Jets were going to look at a guy like Penei Sewell instead of a quarterback. Obviously, I think this trade deaded all those rumors because I don't even know who's on the roster behind him right now. I should probably know that, so I apologize. I will get that information. But Zach Wilson here it's a question mark for me. I think that Yes, he'll probably be better than Sam Darnold, but that also isn't saying much. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be a gimme win every year, maybe like it was under Darnold. Now, the Jets still need to fill out the rest of their roster. But do I think he's going to be somebody we should be scared of for a while? Like, it looks like Josh Allen is becoming. I don't think so. And I mean, to be fair, again, I think it's going to take a little bit more from the Jets to even build a roster around the guy before this team is competitive. But when I look at like what their future could be, I don't see the ceiling with this kid. By the way, the other quarterback on the Jets roster right now is a guy named Mike White. For those of you that have never heard of him like me, he's been in the league 3 years. He went to small college, Kentucky Western, 6'5", 218 pounds. Yeah, nobody's scared of Mike White, but there's our answer. So I'm not scared of Zach Wilson. That's essentially what I'm trying to say. I'm obviously not scared of him right now with the secondary, with guys like our boy X and Byron Jones. Am I going to be scared of him in the future? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here. I don't know. There's something about the kid. Like I think Trevor has it. I think Trey Lance can evolve to a point where he gets it. I think Justin Fields is going to have it. I think Justin Fields is going to be a good quarterback at the NFL level. Mac Jones and Zach Wilson, I'm not so sure. So don't stress too much about this whole thing. Just play into my stupid joke about the funeral and Sam Darnold and that wonderful stuff. We're gonna be back here one night soon. I'm gonna have the announcement with the full Miami Sports Music mock draft deal. I don't want to really spoil it, so I don't want to go into too much detail today. So this will probably be cut pretty short. Another thing that I'm kind of interested in. The Cincinnati Bengals cut Giovanni Bernard this morning. I think he might be a solid pickup for the Dolphins. I still believe in drafting a running back. Before everyone gets all over me, I still believe we need to draft a true number one running back. In my opinion, there's 3 of those in this draft. Najee Harris, of course, Travis Etienne, who I don't really think fits what we're trying to do as well, but I still think he's going to be a really good player. And then Javonte Williams out of North Carolina. So I hope we don't miss on one of those 3. I still think one of those 3 with a Malcolm Brown at the 2 and a Gaskin at the 3 can be a solid rotation. But at this point, we should be kicking tires on every running back we can get our hands on. Let's be real. Everybody knew we were going to take J.K. Dobbins last year in the second round. What happened? Baltimore stepped up, grabbed him before we had a shot. So in the God, I hope it doesn't happen, but in the chance that something like that happens, I think we need to be ready. I think we need to kick tires on everybody we can get. Gio Bernard, for those of you who haven't really followed his career, he was another guy, I believe, out of North Carolina. Somebody, again, correct me if I'm wrong here. Really more of a speed, home run hitter potential kind of guy, not the between the tackles. Think a little bit similar to like what Matt Breida was supposed to be when he came here last year. Supposed to be. Ed Atwood broke my heart too, man. Him and Jordan Howard last year just killed me. Like, I thought we were going to have this dynamic Howard between the tackles, crushing it, Brady off to the sides, hitting home runs. And well, y'all saw the unfortunate end of that story. There's a reason neither one of them are on the team anymore. I think Jordan Howard, I don't even think he's still in the NFL. But whatever. So, hey, I want to cut this short. I don't want to waste too much of your guys' time. Thank you for playing along with my stupid joke about Sam Darnold. We'll talk a little bit more about how this impacts the draft later, but just know the Jets are 100% going quarterback now. And the other X factor that could kind of get jacked up now is Carolina not going quarterback at 8 like a lot of people thought they were gonna. Now, in my opinion, if they don't go 8, they're probably, if they don't go quarterback at 8, I should say they're probably going a Micah Parsons or a Patrick Surtain Jr. I know a lot of Dolphin fans, would have loved for Patrick Surtain to land on our team just because of the pedigree of his dad. It's not really in the cards with Noah Benogany, Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, so these other guys. But, we brought back Nick Needham. But, I don't know. It's probably not going to happen, guys. Sorry. But the way this could shake up the draft, and the one thing that I could see happening, which is kind of nerve-wracking a little bit here now, is because of the fact that 5 quarterbacks are probably not going to go in the top 10 now like we initially thought could happen. There is a chance that the Patriots at 15 try to move up and take whichever quarterback is still there, whether that's a Mac Jones, whether that's a Justin Fields, whether that's a Trey Lance, I don't know. But just keep an eye on that. We're going to talk a little bit more about this and about why I think specific quarterbacks are going in specific places in the Miami Sports Music mock draft video, and probably the next video I'm going to do, because we're getting really close to mock season here. So with the draft coming up in just a couple weeks, I want to put together some solid content, tell you guys what to look for, all that stuff. So as always, thanks for watching. Check out the links on the bottom. Grab your DWA gear from MiamiSportsMusic.com. Grab your What Would Shula Do gear that supports me from our What Would Shula Do store down below, via the What Would Shula Do Instagram page. All that wonderful stuff. I got to start saying that in the beginning, like these professional video makers. I'm just out here having fun. But as always, guys, fins up. I'm going to take off the black jersey now, go back to my regular aqua. Peace.